In today's video, I am going to teach you how to post a podcast episode on Squarespace. To begin, navigate to your blog page in Squarespace. This is the page where your podcast episode will live as a post. If your site uses a blog collection for podcast episodes, make sure you are opening the correct blog, especially if you have more than one blog page on your website. Taking a moment to confirm that you are in the right place helps keep your content organized and make sure the episode appears where your audience expects to find it. Once you are on the blog page, look for the plus icon. Click the plus icon to create a new post. This opens a fresh blog post where you can add the information and media for your podcast episode. At this point, you are setting up the page that listeners will see when they visit your site, so it is worth making sure you are starting from a clean new post, rather than editing an older one by mistake. Now that the new post is open, you need to add the audio file to the post content. Click an insert point inside the post editor. Insert points are the small controls that let you add different types of content blocks to the page. After clicking the insert point, choose the audio block from the available block options. The audio block is the part of Squarespace that lets you place a playable audio file directly into the post, which is essential for a podcast episode. After the audio block appears, upload your MP3 file. This should be the final audio file for the episode that you want listeners to hear. Make sure you are selecting the correct MP3 from your device before uploading it. The upload may take a little time depending on the size of the file and your connection speed, so allow the process to finish before moving on. Once the file has uploaded, Squarespace will use it as the audio source for the episode. Next, click the Podcast tab inside the Audio Block settings. This section is specifically for podcast-related details. These details help Squarespace understand how the audio file should be treated as a podcast episode, and they also help keep your episode information clear and structured. If your podcast content is shared through a podcast feed, this information is especially important because it gives the episode the proper title, description, numbering, and timing details. In the Podcast tab, fill in all of the required fields. Start with the episode title. This should be the title of the podcast episode. Then add the summary, which gives listeners a brief description of what the episode is about. Keep it clear and useful, since this text helps visitors understand the topic before they press play. Next, enter the episode number and season number if your podcast uses seasons. These numbers help organize the episode in the correct order. Finally, enter the duration, which tells listeners how long the episode is. Make sure these required fields are complete before continuing. Once the podcast details are filled in, click Apply. This saves the information you entered in the audio block. It is an important step because it confirms the audio settings and podcast details before you publish the post. After clicking Apply, take a brief moment to look over the post and make sure the audio block is visible and the episode information appears as expected. When everything looks ready, publish the post. Publishing makes the podcast episode live on your Squarespace blog page. Once it is published, visitors to your site will be able to access the post and play the podcast episode from the page. That covers everything you need to know.